eternal delight. But he's looking for, in the long run, for a marriage, a union between these two aspects of reason and energy, and good and evil. He talked about Milton as being, because he gave Milton in Paradise Lost, gives Satan some of the best lines, and Satan himself was Lucifer. He was an archangel of light who had fallen because he rebelled against the authority of God. Milton, as a libertarian, despite himself, was giving him some great lines, and I think that, and Blake recognised that, and so Blake did see that the conventional definition of good and evil put forward by the established church was wrong-headed. So he tried to recreate a new morality himself, which celebrates joy, freedom, creativity, and forgiveness. I don't know if yeah.
I'm going to ask about the depiction of women in Blake.
Yes.
One of the things that's always made me slightly uneasy is that most of the female characters seem to be emanations of the male characters.
Yes.
I mean, I think they're wonderful works, but I still have this slight uneasiness about the female being subordinate in a way.
Yes. Well, I think he thought that we all have a female side, that he talks about the spectre and emanation as being within us. But it's true that the most positive characters are male, but he equally has a lot to say about loveless marriages, where women are forced. He talks about being churning the wheels of desire. The wheels for him were very negative, and so he's looking, and he also celebrates love as free as the mountain wind. So there is a certain, maybe a minor ambivalence there, just as there is in that depiction of Africa and Asia supporting Europe. But he like Mary Wollstonecraft, did call for the end of the property marriage of the day. And Mary Wollstonecraft wanted to have an end of giving and being given in marriage. But I think that there may not, his most powerful figures do tend to be male. I think that's true, yeah. He also, though, seemed to have a very good relationship with Catherine, and wasn't, although she again helped him a lot, but she seemed to be a good companion, equal companion to him.
I was going to ask that. Was she a fellow artist, or was she a conventional?
So she was actually I believe, an illiterate daughter of a market gardener, but she learnt to write, and she also learnt to draw and to paint, and she painted a lot of his engravings, and I think may well have even helped him in some of the drawings. It's not very clear whether she did or not.
Well, it's yet to be substantiated whether her father, who was somewhat of a herbalist, and whom Blake went to for the cure over in Kew, where he had two houses, one in Kew, unsubstantiated, but nevertheless I'll run with it anyway, over in Kew and in what was the other one?
Battersea.
In Battersea.
That's Catherine's father.
Yes,
yes.
And personally, she, being myself, I'm highly resentful of the phrase illiterate, as though the illiterate oughtn't to be respected in and of itself, and has a wonderful vacuum which can be hoovered up by domesticity.
Yeah, I actually didn't want to use the word illiterate, but it is used in some biographies. But and I had no idea whether she could read or write. But she seems to have been a very creative woman, and she certainly, one of the things she said about Blake was, when someone came round and said, how is Blake? And she replied, I don't see, to the effect, I don't see that much of Mr. Blake's company he's always in paradise. So you could have a sort of idea of their domestic life, I think.
She did actually paint a very beautiful tempera, which was in the Gothic exhibition, of miscarriage.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yes, she was saying, I don't know if you can hear, but she painted a beautiful scene of it, a tempera scene. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
A woman holding a dead baby.
Yes, a woman holding a dead baby. So they were a very creative couple together, there's no doubt about that. And they didn't have any children, it seems, but they, in all Blake's work, it's so much about celebrating children, and he was so driven to try and create a society where children weren't depressed and repressed, and a natural innocence and being twisted by the experience of life.
I learned recently that after Blake's death, that Catherine was in constant communion with his spirit and actually seemed to be able to converse with him.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I thought that was absolutely fascinating.
Yes. But he certainly said he continually had messengers from heaven talking to him. So maybe when he went up to heaven, he could then talk to Catherine.
Yes,
but
she was a very renowned medium.
Sorry?
She's
She's a renowned medium.
Yes.
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 But it's certainly true that Blake, believed in this world of the spirits and of the imagination. And one of the most powerful images he wrote was a ghost of a flea, which is quite horrific. You can see that coming to you. But apparently he said he saw it in the corner of the room and quickly drew it and developed it. So this world of the imagination, you can say it was part of his visionary imagination, or maybe that he was hallucinating, but it was very real to both of them.
A couple of quick points. You mentioned about Blake not leaving London.
Yes.
Or rarely leaving
Yes,
London.
yeah.
It's parallels with other people. I mean, Bosch, for instance, he left his hometown.
Yeah.
One visit to Italy, I think.
Yes, yeah.
And if you look at Bosch, I mean,
yeah.
the suffering is quite biblical. You can't accuse him of not being imaginative.